disenchanted with your life and the way it is. And I'm telling experiences because that's what it does. We live in a containment field and it is sentient. It responds to us. But if it doesn't understand why you're behaving the way you're behaving, it will knit for you all kinds of new experiences. And from that manifold of choices, you can now begin new event trajectories in your life. If you don't like the way your life is unfolding, you've got to break pattern. Once you break pattern, you will see what I'm talking about. And you will come back and you will listen to this video with a whole new understanding. You're dissatisfied and disenchanted with your life and the way it is. And I'm telling you, it's because of the way you've been living it. If you keep doing the same things day for day, the whole sphere will knit that architecture into your future, because your future is really no different than your past. They are one and the same. They both exist now. They are a part of the pendulum. But if you change directions, you force its hand, it will have to create for you new experiences. And from those new experiences, you can begin cherry picking what you want to feel, hear, see, do, and taste. Change your life. You got to break pattern. So break free or die trying, my friend. Every single day, we do the same damn things. We go to Kmart, Target, Walmart, Foley, wherever. We go to the same grocery stores. We take the same right turns. We stay in the same left lanes. Everything we do is patterned. We like to think that we are spontaneous. We are not. But there's an element to our existence that we need to be aware of if we're going to live anything but a mundane existence. This repetition, this repeat life, this groundhog day that we are living in day to day to day, it can be altered and you can introduce excitement into your life by making very subtle, small changes. I'm going to tell you about that in this video. This study is predicated on my own research on the Mandelbrot. It's basically called the Mandelbrot set. It is a repetitive pattern in the geometry of our whole sphere that never changes no matter how many times you magnify and to what degree of magnification you use. A multiplicity of magnifications only reveals the exact same geometry until you change directions. And once you change directions in the Mandelbrot series, a whole new geometrical reality opens up. And if you stay on that trajectory, you'll see a whole new geometry, then it will repeat indefinitely, ad infinitum. Our life unfolds in the exact same way because we're existing within a very advanced program. And once you understand the mechanics and the architecture of this existence, you can play with it. It will respond to you.
It's power.
How do we break pattern? There's a very old saying, walk unfrequented paths. And another version later in time that came out, go by unexpected ways. These were deep philosophical tenets in antiquity because it was known that to experience new things in your life, you would have to go to old destinations by new means. We travel the same roads, we walk the same footpaths, the jogging trails. We rarely deviate from what's well established. And herein lies the problem. We can translate traveling and destinations to mental activities. These veins that we call highways and byways and streets and feeders and avenues and parkways, they're just means of getting us places. But we take the same ones every time. because they get us to our destination faster. Some of us use Google Maps, and some of us use other apps like Waze. But while we're traveling, we're missing so much. We're bypassing experiences in the millions, going from one destination to the other. But we have to understand that really there is no distance in time or space when we employ the mind. If we believe absolutely that we can do a certain thing, the way will always be open for us to do it. If we believe that time and space will have to elapse, then we are making that law, and time will have to elapse. It takes no time for the universe to manifest what we want. Any time delay we experience is due to our delay in getting to the place of believing, knowing, and feeling that we already have it. But instead, we want to travel to it. It requires that you get yourself on the frequency of what you want. When you are on that frequency, then what you want will appear. There is no time or space in the mind principle. Infinite mind or intelligence is present in its entirety at every point simultaneously. I'm not making this up. The greatest minds in theoretical physics have already drawn these conclusions. At this primordial stage, neither time nor space can be recognized, for both imply measurement of successive intervals. And in the primary movement of the mind upon itself, the only consciousness must be that of present absolute being, because no external points exist from which to measure extension, either in time or in space. Hence, we must eliminate the ideas of time and space from the conception of the spirit's initial self-contemplation. This being so that our spirit's primary contemplation of itself as being necessarily implies, it makes its presence universal and eternal. And consequently, paradoxically, as it may seem, its independence of time and space makes it present throughout all time and space. But we don't think like this. We think we're highly compartmentalized, and we think that in order to get to a destination, we have to physically travel to it. The spirit is perfectly independent of the elements of time and space. From this it follows that in the idea of anything is conceived as existing on this level, it can only represent, everything is here and now. In this view of things, nothing can be remote from us, neither in time or space. Either the idea is entirely dissipated, or it exists as an actual present entity, and not as something that shall be in the future. For where there is no sequence in time, there can be no future. Similarly, where there is no space, there can be no conception of anything at being at a distance from us. When the elements of time and space are eliminated, all of our ideas of things must necessarily be of subsisting in a universe here and everlasting now. If you can understand that there is no time, then you will see that everything you want in the future already exists in the present. If everything is happening at one time, then the parallel version of you with what you want already exists. To bring your conscious self to experience your potential self, you must recognize who you are and who you aren't. A true self-awareness is key to unlocking the arcanum within you, a power vast and instantly responsive. Me, as I've told you guys before, I know that I am knowledgeable, and yet I cannot fathom how little I know. I know that I am evil, and yet being evil, I am compassionate with morals. I know that I am good, and yet being good, I also enjoy my wickedness. I am devilish and divine, and yet I have favor with God. I am powerful, and yet my strength is not my own. I am irreligious, and yet my spirituality is secure. I am creative, and yet with words I know I destroy. I am destructive, and yet my words do bring healing. I am a man, and yet I know that I am as immortal as God. You and I were given power, authority, and dominion over an existence that responds to our every thought. When man thinks, the universe pays attention. When man speaks, the echo of his intent reverberates throughout the whole creation at once. We are immersed within this creative medium that knows nothing of good or evil, morals, ethics, the ideals of men. It is impersonal and totally amenable to suggestion and absolutely free from precedent. By knowing who we are, the universe knows us. responding by reflecting the realities that we project. What we bind or free, heal or destroy becomes bound or free, healed or destroyed. Our power over men and conditions is due to awareness of this liberty and the immediate responsiveness of material reality to our thoughts, words, and actions is why we are masters amidst a sea of slaves who do not know who they are. They see a desire, and it translates to them as a destination, not something that is existing in the here and now. By expecting our words fulfilled, we act accordingly and it becomes fulfilled. By thinking what we want and acting as though things had already changed, we basically transform the mental to the material because we are co-creators with God. This is the Arcanum, a secret about the divinity of mankind that the simulacrum seeks to destroy. The potential is always there, but the layers of negative energy saturate us daily as the forces of the demiurge strive to keep us in slumber. But if we grasp the truth that the thing is already existent in the thought, do we not see that this transcendent Omega must be already existent in the divine ideal of every one of us? If on the plane of the absolute time is nothing, then does it not follow that this glorified humanity is a present fact in the divine mind? And if the divine mind presently regards us as a glorified humanity in the present, then presently we are able to both imagine and cause divine things to happen that are beyond space and time, because those are properties of a succession of realities that we are actually positioned beyond. To delay personal action is to cause time to elapse, further pushing away that which is desired. The only time to act about anything is now. But we're stuck in this loop, this mindset that we have to travel from destination to destination. The Mandelbrot set is our great teacher. In that Mandelbrot set, we fix on any point in the creation and we magnify it. And it shows us a beautiful, perfect architectural geometry of reality. And we magnify it more, and it seems to dissipate until we focus in on a small speck and magnify it even more, and it turns into an exact replica of the part we had just magnified beyond our comprehension. And we magnify that speck even larger until it fulfills the pattern that we had just seen, and we magnify it more, and then it becomes distorted because we're inside the pattern. We magnify it more, and we become one with the pattern while we see a small pinprick. We magnify that pinprick, and in the Mandelbrot set, the exact same geometry expands into our awareness. It fills the entire screen. Then it fills the page. Then we're inside that geometry. The Mandelbrot set is the code to the holosphere. If you want to experience the same thing day in and day out, then just focus on the dot, your destination. In the Mandelbrot set, the reality, the holosphere, this fantastic simulacrum that we exist within, will make sure you get to that destination, which will be the exact feelings, the exact conversations, the exact right turns and staying in the left lanes that you experienced the day before. Some of you will find comfort in this repetition. I don't. If you want to experience something new in life, if you want to bring excitement into your life, if you've grown bored with living because of this repetitive nature of the simulacrum in forging a reality tunnel for you that is the same as the one you existed in yesterday, then you have to actively break pattern. Without letting reality know what you're doing, without actively telling someone or even giving the holosphere a chance to edit it, you break pattern. Keep it within you, because I assure you, my friends, we live in an advanced pattern recognition system that is far more capable than anything we have ever designed. But there's one thing that it cannot do. Its pattern recognition and even event prediction capabilities are phenomenal, but there's one thing it cannot do. It cannot read our minds. This program we are immersed within cannot know our thoughts other than what it reads in our hormonal signatures when thoughts are thought. Yes, I said that. When you think certain things, cortisols and you have all kinds of dopamine, endorphins, cortisol, your brain releases chemicals. These are hormones in response to different thoughts. Although the psychologist will tell you it's just the opposite. You have feelings because certain chemicals are released by your brain. It's not true. Your immortal spirit is the thinker. The brain is just a housing that releases the appropriate chemicals for whatever thoughts you think. And the holosphere, the simulacrum we live in, knows what you basically is going through your mind from the impressions it gets from the cortisol and just different hormones. But it doesn't know your thoughts. So you break pattern. You go to Walmart every Tuesday at 7 p.m. after work, and you got your kids in the car, and you go through the same exact routine. You know which aisles you're going to hit. You know which break pattern. Go to a different Walmart. Go to a Kroger. Do something spontaneous without giving any warning to any living soul that that's what you intend to do. And I assure you, my friends, you're going to experience something new. Not just a new environment, but the simulacrum now has to edit in all kinds of new experiences and all kinds to make up for what's going on, because it's desperately trying to figure out what's going through your mind. You did something unanticipated. And the free-thinking immortal is a threat to the simulacrum. And in order to corral you back into normalcy, you will see all kinds of signs that you should have just stayed doing what you were doing. But if you continue this behavior of breaking pattern, you will suddenly be opened up to new worlds, new people. You will be introduced to new situations. You will find all kinds of things that you were missing in life, because now the simulacrum has to put all these tantalizing little things out in front of you to grab, because it needs to compartmentalize you into something. The simulacrum needs to understand you in order to control you. Or at least, if you're enlightening other people, then it needs to contain you with distractions, the pleasures of the flesh, the pleasures of gluttony. It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to entice you with all kinds of new experiences, because that's what it does. We live in a containment field, and it is sentient. It responds to us. But if it doesn't understand why you're behaving the way you're behaving, it will knit for you all kinds of new experiences. And from that manifold of choices, you can now begin new event trajectories in your life. If you don't like the way your life is unfolding, you've got to break pattern. Once you break pattern, you will see what I'm talking about. And you will come back and you will listen to this video with a whole new understanding.